I'm Marissa, and this is Emily Furneaux, and today we'll be discussing the Faisal-Weizmann Agreement.
Some background on the agreement is that during World War I, Britain claimed it would support Arab independence and sovereignty in exchange for political support in the war. Faisal bin Hussein heavily advocated for Arab nationalism and the establishment of an Arab kingdom composed of Greater Syria. Weizmann wanted a safe homeland for Jews where they could be free from persecution. In the agreement itself, it was stated that Arabs would recognize the Balfour Declaration, which was a letter of British support of a Jewish homeland in Palestine. Also, Arab independence would be granted in the formerly Ottoman-controlled Middle East. Specifically in Article 2, it was stated that the definite boundaries between the Arab state and Palestine shall be determined by a commission to be agreed upon by the parties hereto. And in Article 4, it was promised that the immigration of Jews into Palestine on a large scale and very fast scale would help Arab peasants and farmers and not infringe on their rights, as they will be assisted in their further economic development.
So, this agreement ultimately didn't last very long. And when Faisal signed the agreement, he added a clause saying that he would agree to this agreement solely if the Allies grants him the land that he was promised in World War I. Unfortunately, due to the Sykes-Picot, that wasn't going to happen, and Faisal realized this. So he claimed that the agreement was invalid and that he shouldn't be held responsible to it. After this agreement was made, Palestinian Arabs, for the most part, were somewhat afraid of the agreement, since they felt that the development of an independent Jewish state would eventually come and that it would be a threat to their national security. As a result of this fear, anti-Semitism became increasingly popular, and two notable events are the Nebi Musa riot in 1920 and the Jaffa riots in 1921, which is on the left, both of which are examples of anti-Semitism and poor Jewish and Arab relations. So in this presentation, we're asserting that the Faisal-Weizmann Agreement made a very large impact on the modern borders in the Middle East today due to the fact that there was very little self-determination. In the Palestinian perspective, Faisal turned his back on his people by showing support for the Balfour Declaration, even after many Palestinians openly said that they were against it. This led to some Palestinians advocating for Palestinian nationalism solely, going against Faisal's Syrian Arab dream, I guess. This increase in Palestinian nationalism helped aid the Israel-Palestine conflict that we have going on today regarding borders and whose land is whose. Additionally, since Faisal wasn't able to form the independent state he wanted, the modern borders do not represent Greater Syria. They show what Britain and France, who had control of the region, wanted. So, in conclusion, since the Faisal-Weizmann Agreement had very little self-determination for the Palestinians and for Faisal himself, we have the modern borders in the Middle East that we have today. Here's our works cited. Thank you for listening.